Magic Edit lets you change parts of an image using AI. Simply select the area you want to edit, describe what you'd like to see instead, and Canva generates a new version based on your prompt. It sounds great in theory, but a lot of the results miss the mark. Here are the 3 best ways to use this feature. One thing Magic Edit did really well was changing a person's outfit. In this photo, the graphics on the shirt competed for attention. So I used Magic Edit to replace it with a plain blue shirt. The result was much better than I expected. You'll see that the plain shirt stood out against the green background, which means the shirt's no longer distracting. This taught me that Magic Edit works best when the change is focused and realistic. The only downside is now the image looked a little softer than the original. However, that could be fixed by using Canva's upscale feature. Now, if you would like to try it for yourself, Magic Edit is a Canva Pro feature. If you don't have Pro yet, I'll put a free trial link in the description. And just in case you're wondering, yes, I used Magic Edit for my thumbnail. And here's your 30-second lesson of how I used Magic Edit on this thumbnail. You're going to click BG Remover on both images. Click on one of the images, click on Edit, go over to Magic Edit, click on Brush, and then brush over the burger. So Magic Edit knows what to do. Change burger to a slice of chocolate cake. Scroll down to click Generate, and Magic Edit is going to give your photo a makeover. This didn't take long, but this was sped up. Close it out. Your burger's now a piece of cake. Another thing Magic Edit did really well was removing distractions from a photo. In this image, I tested removing the window and the birdhouse in the background. Magic Edit did a really nice job removing them both, leaving a much cleaner image. As I kept testing, I also discovered that not every picture responded the same way. For example, I wanted to remove the microphone on the hat, the watch, and the wire fence in the background. My first prompt was remove the microphone from the hat. Unfortunately, Magic Edit removed the entire hat instead of just the microphone. Since the hat was gone, Canva had to generate new hair. Instead of improving the image, it created a new problem. So I tried again with a much more specific prompt. Remove the microphone only. This time, it removed just the microphone. That taught me that even small changes to your prompt can make a big difference. I also tested removing the watch and the fence. Magic Edit did a pretty good job removing those distractions. However, it also changed the person's face enough that he no longer looked like himself. That made me wonder how Magic Eraser would compare. Magic Eraser took a couple tries and it didn't do a great job of removing the fence. However, it removed the microphone and the watch without changing the person's face. After using both tools, here's my recommendation. If you're removing a small distraction, I typically reach for Magic Eraser first. But if the object is more complex or Magic Eraser isn't giving you the results that you want, Magic Edit is another option. Just make sure to double check the person's face before you use the final image. There are a few more discoveries that I found while testing Magic Edit that I think you'll find helpful. Another way Magic Edit can be useful is for visualizing possible changes before you actually make it. In this photo, I wanted to see what an area might look like with a fence. If you look closely, there are definitely parts that don't feel natural enough to use as a final image, but that really wasn't the point of this test. Instead of just imagining how a fence might change a space, I could actually see a rough version of it. That could be useful if you're thinking about changing a background, adding something to a room, updating parts of your workspace, or even planning a project around your home or garden. I wouldn't treat this type of edit as a finished result, but I would use it as a quick way to test an idea before spending more time, money, or energy on it. Like I mentioned earlier, not every test turned out well. For example, changing facial expressions didn't work very well. The results looked exaggerated and unnatural. You can certainly try it, but don't expect great results. Another thing I'd be careful with is replacing objects that are touching someone's hand or crossing their body. In one test, I tried replacing a hose wand with a garden trowel. Instead of replacing the wand, Magic Edit ended up creating 2 trowels. I also tried making someone point at something, but it ended up creating 2 pointing gestures instead of 1. Another example was adding a close-up visual beside someone's face. Magic Edit added this, but it dominated the image instead of supporting it. In a case like that, I'd rather add the graphic manually in Canva, where I have complete control over the placement and size. Magic Edit is just one of many tools Canva includes for editing images. The video on your screen shows you how to use Canva's other image editing tools to adjust, enhance, and transform your pictures.